was my booty. This was also my booty. This is currently my booty. So let's talk about how I got the shape. Welcome to Booty Building Class 101. So let's talk about how to go from a square booty to a peachy booty like this. The first year of my training, I did not understand this, and I couldn't understand why my glutes looked bigger, but they lacked shape. So this is how. So those that have a square booty, they neglect all of the muscle groups. They just focus on glutes versus the 3 parts of the glutes. They do whatever. They're not consistent on their booty day. They overtrain from hitting glutes 4 times a week. They do 4 sets of everything, and they do not prioritize protein, which is what builds muscle. Versus the girls with the peachy butt, they prioritize all 3 glute muscles as the glute minimus, maximus, and medius. They progressive overload and go to failure. They train intentionally and smart, and they do not overtrain. They hit glutes twice a week. They stay consistent with their workouts, and they prioritize their protein. So what is the glute maximus, medius, and minimus? Let's go down here. So the maximus is the largest part of the glute muscle. It's going to take up about 85% of the glutes. As you can see here, it's the largest glute muscle. Then we have the glute minimus, which is going to be the top shelf. And a lot of people get confused, the minimus and medius, saying that the medius is the top shelf. And that is still true. They are both the top shelf, but this is the top side shelf, while this is the top shelf. When people get the top shelf, that is through building the minimus, more so the medius. So that is why I say this is the top shelf versus the medius, although it is still at the top. So the minimus is the top shelf, and it's going to be the smallest glute muscle that is sitting in between the glute medius and the maximus. As you can see, the glute minimus is at the top. It's just not on the side. So that is the top shelf. And then the glute medius is going to be the top side glute and the hip dips. And as I say always, you cannot fix hip dips without surgery, considering it is bone structure. But doing glute medius workouts can create the illusion that you have a fuller hip, making it look like you have more of an hourglass figure. While the glute minimus is still at the top, but it also lingers down to the side where the hips lie. So now that we gathered all this information and what the peachy girls prioritize versus what the square girls neglect, which no shame, but this is just how you're going to get a peachy booty, let's talk about what you're going to do to target the glute muscles. I'm sorry for my handwriting, I got tired. So for the maximus, you can do compound lifts, which targets more than one glute muscle, like hip thrusts, RDLs, box squats, Bulgarians, and split squats. Then into the minimus, which you can do step-ups and glute extensions, which is going to target that top shelf muscle. And last, for the medius, you can do hip abductions, clamshells, and even kickbacks. Kickbacks you can also do for the minimus as well. What you're going to do is you're going to pick one exercise from all 3 of the categories, just one. You're going to do 3 sets of 12, which is your first working set, 10, which is your second working set, then 4 to 8 reps, which is your progressive overload, and 2 failure set. You're going to do this, eat your protein, and also train your glutes twice a week. Trust me, I will not steer you wrong.